I've seen what Oblique Seville does in the month of July. I've seen what he does in June in years past, and then I've seen what happens in the championship. I can't just give it to him as being a world champion. He's saying, no, it's not if I win, it's when I win the world championships this year. Y'all can't say nothing to me. You haven't gotten it done in the world championships in the past. So I am nervous about Letsile Tebogo going into the world championship because this has been his most inconsistent year of his entire career. He's either dropping world leads or he's getting dropped off the track. And that's not something that I want to see in a potential world champion. I'm liking a lot of what Athlos has been doing right now. First, you signed Sha'Carri Richardson, the biggest name in track and field. She's a part of your league. Next, you announced there's going to be a team dynamic in track and field, something that we don't see in the professional circuit. We only see it in college track and field. And then you're announcing that you're going to be having the long jump competing in the biggest tourist destination in the entire world, putting it front stage for everyone to watch. They're doing a lot of stuff right in track and field.
Noah is probably the strongest I've ever seen him. I've lifted with Noah. Noah's been my lifting partner for years when it comes to squats and all that other stuff. And something happened this year where he decided, you know what, I'm going to get stronger. And he ended up lifting. He lifts more than me now at the moment. And I think it shows. I think we got some exciting news. I'm headed out there to Europe next month, get some competitions in before the end of the year. My last open 400 meter would have been U.S. Championships 2023. I qualified to the semi, but I had to limp off the track and I wasn't able to compete the next day. So it's been a while since I ran an open 400, but training's been going really, really well. I've seen some really promising things that I've never done before in practice. And my body's good. My body's healthy. So, man, hey, it's a blessing. I'm just excited to throw my hat back in the mix and get to work with these guys, man.
Welcome back. Another episode of Track World News Podcast. Your host, Colin Waitsman, here with our esteemed co-host, Mr. Noah Williams. Noah, how you doing today, brother?
Hey, blessed and highly favored as always, brother. We had a great weekend of track and field. Championship time is right around the corner, man. I'm feeling good, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Had a nice little weekend. Kind of like the heat and peak of summer right now. So we got a lot of fun, exciting things that are coming down the pipeline. So it's good, man. It's good. You got any things that planned stuff for the rest of the summer for you? How things looking for you, man?
I do, man. I got some exciting news. I'm headed out there to Europe next month, get some competitions in before the end of the year. Unfortunately, my timeline didn't work for the U.S. Championships. So I wasn't able to get into that meet. But it's still hope for this year, and I'm really excited about that. So that's what we got going on in the month of August, man.
Whoa! Breaking news here. First time telling to the people, making a return to the track. When was the last time that you had competed? Do you remember the last?
My last open 400 meter would have been U.S. Championships 2023. I qualified to the semi, but I had to limp off the track and I wasn't able to compete the next day. So it's been a while since I ran an open 400, but training's been going really, really well. I've seen some really promising things that I've never done before in practice. And my body's good. My body's healthy. So, man, hey, it's a blessing. I'm just excited to throw my hat back in the mix and get to work with these guys, man.
There we go. Yeah, I see every episode we're posting, people wondering when you're making a return. So there you go. You heard it here first. You'll be seeing this man over in Europe. Any places yet, or are you still looking to see which meets they're going to be?
Yeah, we're still sorting out which meets they're going to be. I know I'll be stationed out there. I'm not going to give too much info on where I'll be exactly, but we'll be out there, and I'll have a couple opportunities to put belt to some ass a little bit.
There you go. I'm sure some other people are probably wondering too. Will you still be joining the show though? Because you'll be competing. I know we'll probably talk about it, but we haven't brought. This is the first time I've asked you about it. So
yeah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely, we're still going to be doing the show. I think it's funny, because I see everything. Not everything, but I see mostly everything, and some of the slander is it's a little bit of a battery in my back. Just people like, oh no, don't even run no more. He just talks shit and hates on other athletes. Like, nah, it's not even like that. But yeah, man, I'm just excited to do what I love and do what you know. This whole thing, this whole show is predicated. I wouldn't be on this show right now if I didn't run track. We wouldn't have this connection. So just excited to do what I want to do, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Noah announces making his return. We'll get some good stuff going through. So looking forward to it. Getting back on the track. Exciting stuff. So well, hope everyone else having a great summer as well. Make sure get your vacations right. Get your summer reading done for all the kids in school. Don't forget that because it's going to creep up on you. So get back. Awesome. All right. Let's get into some of the stuff that we had. We had some exciting things going down. Noah Lyles making his return to the track in the 100 meters. Before we talk about the performance, dude's looking strong right now. Like this dude looks built. I mean, he just turned 28, right? The day before the track meet or whatever it is. He looks different than when we saw him last year and even in indoors right now. I mean, you're training like is this just are my eyes deceiving me or is this dude like stronger than he looks like he used to be?
Noah is probably the strongest I've ever seen him. I've lifted with Noah. Noah's been my lifting partner for years when it comes to squats and all that other stuff. And something happened this year where he decided, you know what, I'm going to get stronger. And he ended up lifting. He lifts more than me now at the moment. And I think it shows. I think we can all tell with his physique. His shoulders look a little bit bigger, arms look a little bit bigger. That's just a product of his hard work and things that he decided he was going to focus on. And he wasn't on the track as much, so he had more time in the gym to put on a little bit more mass. So I think that's what we're seeing. And not only is Noah's physique a little bit bigger, dude, how did you like that purple kit? That purple. I personally thought that shit was fire. Like I thought that was the best kit I've seen this year.
Yeah. So I'm a little biased. Red's my favorite color. Like, so it's hard for me to be impartial on this thing because I'm like, them red thing, like that's my favorite track. That's my favorite uniform pretty almost of all time. It's pretty close. I'm sure in the off season we can get into. We'll do an episode when there's no track going on or what are the best track uniforms we've seen of all time. But it's got to be up there for me. The purple ones look nice because purple is one of my other colors that I like a whole lot. Like it's right up there too. And so no, it's clean. It's clean. I like the variety. I don't like even though the red one's my favorite. It was hard to see at the Atlanta City games where it's all red. It's like it's too much of a good thing. So it's nice to get some more variety in there. So it doesn't feel like we're all on the same team because you're not. It's an individual sport, but it was nice. I thought it was good to get some to see some change up in there. So it was a nice one.
Absolutely. Now starting with Noah, although he didn't win, he is the headliner. He's the Olympic champ, defending Olympic champ. For him to step on the track for the first time in over 100, we know he had a good performance last week in the two. But for him to step on the track and run 10:00, honestly, like that's incredible. Like that's incredible. It was a slight negative headwind. I think that stadium, everybody speaks on that stadium as having like some of the best atmosphere. It looked absolutely packed. And he likes to put on a show, but it looks like he has a lot to improve on, which is a good thing. Like, there's a lot of things he can clean up to get faster before the end of this year. Like, if that start, Noah isn't known to be the best starter, but his goal is kind of to be with the pack, and it just looked a little flat that start for him. And on the flip side of things, Oblique Seville, man, my goodness, bro, he dropped his nuts yesterday, and I'm happy for him to do that. I think it was what is it, 986 officially?
Yeah, 986. Yeah.
986 officially, man. That boy there was sliding. So those were kind of the two most compelling things that I saw during the race. What were your thoughts, your takeaways from that 100, man?
Yeah. For Noah to come out in a 10:0, so a couple different things. So one will be like, oh, he's running 10:0 right now. And I think people that would see it from a down perspective would be, it's almost the US championships. Why are you still only running 10:0? We've had similar types of conversations or dialogue about Christian Coleman of like, hey, he hasn't broken 10:0 and it's right into it. But they're in very, very different points of their training cycle, where like what they have to do and at what times, because Christian Coleman still has to qualify for the team. Noah doesn't, so he doesn't have to be in the same training cycle. I mean, you're in there. Like, is it any like because you have different athletes that are in that same group, but he's training for something different. Are y'all, without giving away all the sauce, like, is everyone doing the same thing right now, or is his a little bit different because he has that bye?
Bro, at training, everybody's doing something different right now. It's just
Okay.
so specialized because you have some athletes in Ivory Coast, some athletes in Nigeria, some athletes need to qualify, some athletes don't. I think Noah, I can't speak for him, but I think his focus more than anything is to be as sharp as he can for the world championships. He did that media day interview and he spoke on not wanting to give away his USA title. You know, if somebody wants to get that title, you have to come and take it. And I do know that he cares heavily about United States championships, but it's not an end all be all for him. Like you said, he could get eighth in the 100 and the 200, and he's still on the team. He's still going to world championships. So it's not the end all be all, but I think through the rounds, we'll see probably 10-0, 9-9, 9-9, 9-8 area from him as he goes through the rounds. I think Noah is a runner that progresses consistently through rounds year after year after year. It's an opportunity for him to get his rhythm. And when you're as seasoned as Noah, I mean, he's basically been a pro now for 10 years. Like, I think he signed when he was 18 or 19. He just turned 28. So the experience that Noah has is he has more professional races under his belt than probably everybody in the field right now. So that is probably one of the biggest things for him to be comfortable, to be confident, and just run worry free, stress free. That's what I'm seeing from him a lot. I think last year it got a little bit tense, and even 2023 season it got a little bit tense when he first started trying to do the doubles and do all those things, put pressure on himself. I think now, even with his online footprint, I think we're seeing Noah turn the page in his life and his career a little bit. Um, Leaning more into his faith, leaning more into Christianity, and I think that's going to bode very well for him on the track and his performance. And as far as a like a worldwide reach and a worldwide liking, I think people will be more favorable to Noah. I think this is a more tasteful pause. This is a more tasteful Noah Lyles, more graceful, more humble, and I think we all appreciate that. I do for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'd start with the first part that you had mentioned on the track of, I mean, this I picked it up while we were going through this, but this is pretty on par with his openers in the past year. He opened with a 10:01 last year. He opened with a 9:95 in 2023, and in 2022, I won't take his opener because it was a negative 4.5 headwind. He ran a 10:42 in Bermuda. So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not going to take that as his opener. He obviously isn't a 10:4 guy. But then his next race, that was probably his actual first opener because of less wind, was a 10:05. So this is right on par with where he's been for openers. And you're like, yeah, but those were in April, Collins. Like, yeah, but he's also been able to do a lot of things that he probably wasn't able to do, from a strength perspective, in the month of, probably May, when he would be in a different training cycle that he's able to do now because he wasn't training or competing in May. So I think he's in a good position that way. And then from what you mentioned it seems like he's taken a little bit of a different turn. I mean, on social media, at least, like we saw the cleanse of the social media, drop down just the all black and white stuff, and putting up different types of content or whatever it may be. And so it kind of signifies a change of chapter, I guess you could say, of this most recent weeks of refocusing in on whatever it is, or you can interpret it how you'd like, but it seems like the Noah of the last few weeks, at least at the bare minimum, is a different one than we've seen the last few years, you could say.
Absolutely, absolutely, bro.
But within that race, I mean, we're talking about the guy that came in second place an awful lot. Let's go into the guy that won the thing. I mean, you mentioned Oblique Seville, 986. That's not even his fastest time of the year because he ran a 983 before. Now the top two guys in the world in the 100 right now, coming from Jamaica. That race from Oblique Seville was strong. He got out well, and then once he really, I'd say, from that 50-meter mark through the remainder of the race, it was, he's going to win. No one's going to be able to, catch him, because Noah, he has a strong finish, but even that amount of space was a little too much. Was for him when we were looking at it. He's looking good. Now I'm cautious because I've seen this before. Like I've seen what Oblique Seville does in the month of July. I've seen what he does in June in years past, and then I've seen what happens in the championship. And so I can't just give it to him as being a world champion. I know I loved in his interview when he said, when I win the world championships this year. So, like, he's got a different level of confidence that he's going into. He's saying, no, it's not if I win, it's when I win the world championships this year. Y'all can't say nothing to me. So, I love that confidence that he has from him. So, it makes me feel a little bit different, but you haven't gotten it done in the world championships in the past. So it's hard for me to change my view when I can only go after what I've seen from you in the past at these things. I mean, are you seeing it any differently?
Um, I am seeing a little bit differently. I think that he's the hottest guy in the 100 right now. I think him and Keishane have a step on everybody on the rest of the world right now. But furthermore, I think Oblique Seville has the most to prove out of this field. I think Oblique Seville and Akani Simbine are going to have the most to prove out of this 100-meter field coming to World Championships. We know Keishane is a heavy hitter. He got second at the Olympics last year in the 100-meter. I think as someone who just popped out, felt like out of nowhere last year, he proved a lot. I think he solidified himself as one of the greatest 100-meter runners in the world right now. Noah, obviously, world champion 100, Olympic champion. There's nothing that Noah needs to prove to anyone, I don't think, right now and at this point in his career. But Oblique obviously ran super fast last year, beat Noah head to head in Jamaica last year, and then come Olympic final time. I don't know if that was an injury. I think it was a hamstring thing, but the results weren't what he would have wanted and what Jamaica would have wanted, and the world didn't want to see him end with an injury. So, um, you know, with his history, with his past, I think he has the most to prove. Nonetheless, this is an incredible season that he's putting together. And like you said, I didn't see the interview. I didn't know he said that. And for an athlete to say that, I mean, you were an athlete. Like if you are standing in front of 60,000 people after beating the reigning Olympic champion in 100, and you're that confident, and you're saying shit like that with your chest, like I think that speaks volumes to where he believes he belongs. And hey, I'm for that. I'm all for that.
Yeah, we haven't seen many athletes recently outside of Noah really that have just said like, no, I'm winning this world championship. I guess like him,
Fred.
Fred Willie would say it too. And like others would be like, yeah, like I want to put together a great race and my goal is to win. I think it's a little different. Like everyone says, yeah, my goal is to win. Like if you don't say that, it's different. But to stamp it like, no, I am winning this world championship this year. And when that happens, this is going to happen. Be like, there's a different level of confidence. And so, yeah, like, and I think, like you said, with Akane Simbine and Oblique Seville, they definitely have the most to prove here because they've been stamped as regular season merchants for their entire career. And now is the time to disprove that statement and that idea that you're not just someone that can show up during the regular season when times really don't mean anything and being able to put together world leading times. Can you do it when it matters at a world championship and bring home some hardware, potentially bring home a gold medal? That's what people have not been able to see from these guys, and that's why I'd agree. I'd say those two probably have the biggest world championships coming up. Of get out of this, thought that you're not able to do it when it matters.
Absolutely, bro. This 100, although when we were kids, we were going and watching championship races of 9.6, and we got to see the 9.5 when we were kids, 9.7s across the board. So obviously, this era of talent in the 100-meter isn't as elite. But with that being said, there's more parity. There's more variance as far as who is going to win. Has there been, obviously Noah repeated world championships in Olympics in the 100, but I can't think of the last time the 100-meter champ for men did a back-to-back world championship. Like this would be Noah's first opportunity to go back-to-back as far as world championships go in the 100. Thinking before that, I mean, there was Fred was a single champ. This is an opportunity for Noah, but of course, like I said, for Oblique and Keishane and all these other guys to break up this, dominance or to just throw your hat in the mix, like the field is still wide open for them.
Yeah, he would be the first person to win 3 world champ like, including the Olympics. He'd be the first one to win 3 in a row ever.
Oh
Um,
wow.
if I'm correct. Yeah, because I think even Bolt had lost like a world champ or he didn't compete in like a world championship in between. I'm pretty sure, like, because I've seen some people talk about it on the internet. I haven't done my 100%, but I'm pretty sure that he would be the first person to win 3 world championships in a row. I'm sure someone in the comments will let me know. But that would be crazy impressive. I mean, I think we can see how difficult it is on the body right now with the fact that he's gone through some injuries in the beginning of this year where the human body ain't really used to running 3 world championship level seasons like in a row. Like that's hard. And we're seeing that challenge right now because none of the people that like have had completely healthy seasons over those last 3 years that have been in that medal contention or in equally, like everyone's had some sort of challenges they've gone through. And so yeah, like he would be doing something that we haven't really seen in the track world before.
Absolutely, bro. And this with that, I kind of want to segue into this, right? So they say it's kind of easy to get to the top. Not easy, but it's easier to get to the top, but it's harder to stay at the top. Now, Noah has been running the sprint game as far as championships go for the last, I would say, since 2022 when he won the 200, and then he ended up doing the double in 23, and tried the double at the Olympics. But he's the top guy. He's been on top for years at this point, and witnessing what it takes for him, the preparation, the dieting, the mental focus, the pre-practice treatment, the post-practice treatment, every day, it's like immensely impressive, both mentally and physically. And I don't think that people give him enough credit for that. I think it's more like, Noah's cocky, he's arrogant, he's an asshole. Well, Noah puts in so much work just to be on the line, just to put on a show. Um, I think that narrative should be curbed a little bit more in his favor than it is. I think it's something that we overlook, but I mean, maybe because I see him all the time. But the things that he does to make sure that his body's ready, to make sure his mind is ready, therapy, whatever that might be for him. Obviously, it's working, but I think it was worth mentioning for sure.
Yeah, like I 100% agree with what you're saying of I think a lot of it is that we're like if I'm like a 1%er in this like track and field knowledge, you're like a 0.1% when it comes to, what, you're the knowledge that you have on the fastest people in the world. Like you're
Right.
trained, like you practice with them. And so for you, you're like, yeah, like why are you like bashing bro on this? Like, don't you know he's working hard like this literally every day? It's like, no, bro, no one knows. Like 30 people in the world know what you know. Like you're one of 30 people in the world that knows, oh yeah, he just had the best practice of all time and now has to like was doing icing the ankle for the last hour and then going back and doing a cool like no, literally no one knows this, bro. And then like I like and then for myself where like hey, I'm not in those circles, but I still am within track and field more often. The casual fan sees him at the world championships, at the Olympics, and then maybe once in a while once he has some of these interviews. And so that perspective is, oh, Noah Lyles, that guy that won the Olympics, that's like a cocky asshole. Like, yeah, I've heard of that kid. And it's like whatever. It's like, no, you don't know like anything. Like actually, like it's. But in my head, I'm like, oh, this is like common knowledge, but it's really not. And so I think that's kind of where some of that perspective of like, damn, yeah, a lot of the stuff that I know, you have no idea, and it doesn't get broadcasted. I know a lot of you guys in the track world, which is great, is starting to make more vlogs and practice stuff. I know you do it. I saw Javon Harrison's doing it. Noah's been doing it. Kenny Bednaric's been doing it. Like there've been a lot more people that are, which makes it interesting where you can see what goes on behind closed doors. But I guess when you're great, you get that's what you get. And you look at all of the best athletes of all time; they've all got probably the similar type of bashing at some point.
Yeah. To the treatment point, we all know and love Wade Van Niekerk. And Wade was in our group for a while, and this is like my big brother. I look up to Wade in so many ways. He's such a good dude. But I think Wade would probably spend upwards of 2.5 hours on the table before and after practice. This is just while we're at the track. Whatever he did when he went home, I don't know. But he would get to the track, lay on the table, get worked on for an hour. We'll do our workout. He'll complete everything, get right back on the table for another hour, hour and a half maybe. It's like the extent that some of these guys go to make sure that they're ready for every day is it's just so admirable. Like I can't really give these guys enough credit. Obviously, it's something that I've had to take a page out of their book because I've been a super like, I'll be fine, bro. I just got to go get some sleep, or I got to put my feet up or something. Obviously, you learn as you get older and you grow, but yeah, that's probably one of the most impressive things about Noah is that he can consistently show up and he can be on the line when it matters, year after year after year after year, tracking back to all the way back to 2019 when he won in Doha. And obviously, in my opinion, I would say he's the greatest of this generation. It's crazy. This is like a glaze fest right now. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, man, I think it's pretty evident that he is the greatest of this generation.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, the best ability is availability, and it takes a lot to be able to be there. I mean, we've seen with LeBron of where he's talked about how he spent over $1 million like a year just on rehab for his body and stuff like that. It's like once you get to these levels, like it's hard to be able to do that, and nobody knows of like all the things that you're going through to get back, when you are injured. Like I'm sure when you've seen in some of the comments of people that you had mentioned here, like talking about you of like, dude, is this guy ever going to run? It's like, you don't know this stuff that I've been putting into practice. Like if there's nobody that wants to run more than the man sitting right here. Like, you think he's just like, you know what? No, I'm cool. Like, I just want to chill. Like, I don't want to actually compete. Like, no, that's idiotic. It's stupid to think that. And so, it's like, hey, we're working back, but it's, yeah, like you said, it's easier to get it than to keep it. Cause once you get the crown, everyone wants to take you down and wants to bring you down from where you were. And, cause you have a target on your back, and fans start to turn on you a little bit. And so that's where it changes and it's hard. So it's weird, man. It's interesting.
Absolutely, bro. So enough glazing of the Noah Lyles at the moment. Back to the London Diamond League, man. That women's 200 meter.
Before you switched on there, I want to stay on this one race. I want to stay on it because we didn't talk about Letsile Tebogo.
You got it.
So I got to. This is my little pedestal thing I got to go on. I understand that Letsile Tebogo is coming off of injury and he's been hurt. I get it. But I am nervous about Letsile Tebogo going into the World Championship because this has been his most inconsistent year of his entire career. He's either dropping world leads or he's getting dropped off the track. And that's not something that I want to see in a potential world champion, because you've got to be able to put it together throughout the entire rounds. And then you have to be consistent enough to be able to hit it when it matters the most. And that's in the final. And right now we're seeing you run world leading times in the 200, and then you're getting beaten by Noah in the 200. That's his first race of his entire season. You just ran a 19.76. You're getting beaten by a guy who you beat last year. You should not have lost that race. If you're Letsile Tebogo, that's a must-win race. You're losing to him. Then you come back the very next week. Oh, I'm going to get my get back. I need to be in this 100. Not only do you not get your get back, you're getting rolled by Azu. Who the heck? What?
Jeremiah Azu.
Jeremiah Azu is rolling you. Like, you're supposed to be taking these people's names. Like, you should be top 3. And that's not a 10-1 after you're running a 19.76. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're in a different level. Like, you're in a different tax bracket right now. Letsile Tebogo. You're not a guy that can run a 10-1 and come in 7th against Noah Lyles, Zarnell Hughes, Oblique Seville. You can't be that far back. It's not something that you're allowed to have. And so I'm nervous of like, are you going to be able to put it together when it matters the most? Because I don't know what what Letsile Tebogo we're going to get in that final right now. Are you going to get the one that's putting the crown on his head, or are you going to get the one that's running 10 ones? I don't know. It's something that I don't want to see out of a person that's a world champion. I got to get a little bit more consistency, and I'm not seeing that consistency right now in this season. He's coming off of injury, so I get it. Like, you're going to have some fluctuation, but if we're seeing the same stuff in August when he's running some might be doing some diamond leagues, I'm still going to be having the same thing of, I don't know how this is going to look come September.
My theory of Letsile Tebogo is maybe a bit radical. Okay, so I look at a graphic before what was that, Monaco last week? That's where they were in the 200.
Yes, Monaco,
So I saw a graphic. It was Noah Lyles versus Letsile Tebogo 200 meter, and it said it was like 3-2, right? And they showed that it was the two that they counted for Tebogo was Olympic semifinal, which in my opinion doesn't count. And obviously the Olympic final when Noah had COVID, allegedly. And outside of that, Noah puts belt to ass every time. So they ran in Prefontaine, Tebogo that is, and he ran 1976. Incredible, dropped a bomb that the whole world heard. The whole world saw this, right? And I think this was a spectacle like, holy shit, this guy is going to take the crown. And he gets next to Noah the very next week. Noah's first race. Nobody knows what type of shape Noah's in. Nobody knows how he's going to perform. Tebogo's got the preferred lane. He gets to see that everything was favorable for Tebogo. He ran tense. He ran tight. And in his eyes, I saw fear. I spoke about it at training. I argued with my training partners. Tebogo gets tense when Noah's next to him. Every time. Y'all look in his eyes. He gets tense. So something about Noah Lyles being over there with him, he gets tense. Now, outside of that Olympic final, when Noah was diagnosed with COVID-19, is the only time he's beaten Noah. He knows that, right? He knows that just like you and I know that. So that 100, in my opinion, in my estimation, in my theory, is the same thing. That boy can't run against Noah. If Noah's in that race, Tebogo is going to be tense. And remember, Tebogo's only like 22. He's like 21, 22 years old. He's still very young. Maybe, yeah, it's 22. He was born in 2003. So, with Tebogo, man, I don't want to write him off, bro. But from what I've seen these last two races, it looks like he gets very tense when Noah's up there with him.
Yeah, I was looking at a similar thing of I guess we talk about where, a Akane Simbine or Oblique Seville, they've gotten tense when a world championship happens. Same with Asafa Powell. He gets tense during world championships as well. Seems like Letsile Tebogo, you're getting tense when you're in a race with Noah right now. And it's like, that's what it is. Like, I don't like everyone's got their thing of where, like, what are you best at? What are you not? And so I think what it might come down to of that's a biggest competitor, and you're not running as free, where like a similar thing would happen to me. Obviously, we're not the same level of athlete, not even close, but like the mental aspect of it, like I'm sure like the way that my conference championship felt was probably in my mental head was probably a similar way that it feels for him, because we're just competing on different levels for his. And so I would get tense like when I would go up against certain athletes as well, of just like, oh man, like I gotta beat this competitor. We're rival. Like this means more. I'm gonna do more to beat this person. And that's not like, you're not treating it like a regular race, which is what you have to do. And so I don't know if it's like hey, you're seeing these races in a different way because it's more important. There's more stuff on the line, but that's how you lose, because you're not doing it the same as you normally are. And so but yeah, I see it where yes, you got one big time win against this, like the biggest guy that you've been heading against. But outside of that, we haven't seen you run freely, and that's making you come up in second, third, fourth, or seventh place. Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting spectacle there. But I think that's been my observation. I'm going to stick by that. And hopefully by World Championship time, it comes to be true so I can be right. But we'll see.
Yeah. So, all right, we're seeing a similar thing. Like I was like, it's interesting where, you're competing, but I'm sure he'll show up at some point. But interesting stuff, because I mean, even in the even in the open the 100 at the Olympics. I mean, because in the 200 he obviously did well, but at the 100 in the Olympics he didn't perform well. So interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. But yeah, you want to get into the 200? You were saying?
Big dog, Julien Alfred, 21-7, bro. Is that what we doing? Breaking away from the field with about 70 meters to go, just high stepping down the track with gapping at all these girls. Yo, we might got a new double this year. 1-2, Julien Alfred. Hey, it's looking spooky, Gabby Thomas. It's looking spooky, Sharika Jackson. It's looking spooky, Melissa Jefferson. It's looking spooky, Sha'Carri Richardson. This girl here is out for blood, dog. Oh my goodness, 21-7 like that? Bro, that was like utter domination, though. Like, that was a dominant ass run.
She disrespected the women in that field. Like, that was, it was like off the first step. I had to rewatch this before we recorded just to make sure that I was remembering what I was remembering. If you go back and take a look at it, the first step off that 200, she has already equaled the stagger on. Is that Daryl Nita on the outside?
No, it's a Nike athlete. It could have been Dina, honestly.
Is that Dina? I thought it was someone on a Brit, someone from England. So yeah, on the first step, already has made up the stagger on someone on the outside. And I was like, oh, it's over. It's done. The announcers are saying like, oh, like Amy Hunt, she's coming off the curve well. I'm like, nah, did you not see this first step? Like, she's gone. And then just pulled away from the field and high stepping at the end there. Form looking powerful, looking strong. Like she looked really good. But you're saying it's looking spooky. Melissa Jefferson's looking spooky here. What I got to say, just like we talked about with Letsile Tebogo, when she lined up against Melissa, what happened? When she lined up against Melissa Jefferson, what happened? I'm seeing a lot of people saying like, oh, she's a person to beat. Yes, I get it. She's the Olympic champion, of course. And she's a medalist in the 200, of course. I get it. She's extremely powerful, extremely strong. She's been a winner wherever she's gone. Yes, 100%. But last time she lined up against one of them big dogs, it didn't look too good for her because everyone in the field that she went against here is okay. She went up against an okay field, but no one that was in this field is a contender for a medal in the 200 this year. Sure, Dina was in 2019, but that Dina in 2019 is not the Dina of 2025. And so she didn't go up against anyone. This was a time trial for her. There was no one that was going to compete against her really this time. But when she's gone up against some of them other steppers, it's been a little bit different. It's been harder. It's been more of a challenge. And so I'm still rocking with Melissa right now because she's gone up against Gabby Thomas and she smoked her. She's gone up against Julien Alfred and she smoked her. I can't say
smoked. Don't say smoked, but she did beat her. Yes,
she beat her. Yes. She beat her. She's gone up against these two other women and beat them. She's gone up. Sha'Carri Richardson. She beat her this year. Like all of them, she's beat them. I can't say the same about Julien Alfred. So I don't know if I'm giving her all that crown right now. But it was a crazy race. 21:71 into a headwind is insane. That is.
Dude, I just while you were speaking, I had to watch the race again and like. First step, yes, absolutely looked crazy. And then as the camera panned, they might have been 30 meters into the turn. She didn't break stagger. Dude, she was in front of the person on her. And I think it was Dina. I'm going to have to watch it again and like get it like a different take or just look at the lane assignments. That should never happen in a professional race. You shouldn't. That is so hard to do, bro. I was doing shit like that in high school, like at a dual meet. Yeah, because the talent level is that much different. But like, for that to be a Diamond League race and you to not only like, okay, I broke the stagger a little bit. No, you were in front of the person on your outside 30 meters into this race is absurd, bro. Like, I think she's still got a little bit. She's gonna run a little bit faster. I think she's gonna run a little bit faster at Worlds, and that's spooky. Like I said, it's spooky.
Yeah, setting a personal best into now the headwind's 0.6. Like it's not like, let's be real, it's not something crazy. It's not like it was like, oh, she set a world lead personal best into a 1.9 headwind. It's not like that, but it's still like to be able to do that is impressive nonetheless of just how like where she's at. But I gotta see her going up against some some dogs like coming up, and who she is she gonna? I bet you she doesn't race Melissa until the World Championships again. I would doubt that she races Gabby. Like if I were those two, like I wouldn't have any need to race her. Like why would you want to give that potential for a mental edge? Because if you lose it, then you've lost that mental edge that you currently have right now. So I don't think we're going to see them race each other, but it was a strong performance, and I guarantee you that all those other women saw it and were like, all right, like it's going to take some crazy times to be dropped at this World Championship to get this gold.
That's going to be two of the most compelling races of the entire World Championships, bro. The women's 100 and the women's 200. I think obviously, and I don't even want to count out Shericka Jackson. I think our Jamaican friends here would think that we just hate Shericka Jackson, which isn't the case at all. She's been putting together better races as the season has gone on. She looks better as far as form-wise, technique-wise, everything. But yeah, man, Julian's going to be a tough out this year. She's going to be a tough one to beat.
Yeah, it's looking good. I'm excited for this the worlds with this position. I don't know who my predictions are going to look like. That's that episode. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of flack by in September when that finally happens.
Yo, Colin, I don't know if I addressed this on the show yet, but I stream a lot on Twitch, right? A lot of gaming. And like one day, like my Twitch stream was just like buzzing, like it was popping off. Comment section going crazy, a lot of viewers. I'm like, oh, this is lit. And somebody was just like heckling the shit out of me. And I was like, dude, like, who is this? Like, who are you? And they're like, oh, it's just an HGH girly with a Jamaican flag. I lost it. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, they remembered what I said like 3 months ago. And, oh man, that was funny as hell. But yeah, whoever that was, that person, if you're watching this, you're funny as hell. I'll give you that.
Yeah, put in the comments just HGH girly with the flag. We'll to show that you've watched 39 minutes and 34 seconds.
Pin you on the thumbnail.
Yeah, we'll pin you. But no, that's crazy. That's funny. That showing love, coming out to your own streams and showing that they paying attention to it, man.
Yeah.
There was some other stuff you saw with these relays that you want to get into from these things. What was it that you saw there?
Yeah, first and foremost, man, that the British women, that 4x1 was cooking, bro. Dina out the hole, looked incredible. Obviously, Daryl Nita bringing it home. I don't think that was necessarily going to be their A team because Imani Lansky out. I don't think she was on the team. And she typically runs their backstretch every time. So moving forward, I think that they are going to be heavy hitters and serious contenders. The Jamaican women ran, it seemed like a B team. We kind of went over the names, the list. A couple of the women will probably be on their team, like Clayton and Shericka, but not so sure about Brianna and the other girl that they had run.
She was on the second leg. I can't remember her name right now, but yeah, their second leg, yeah.
But that Great Britain 4x1 looked incredible. Obviously, it looks better when you're like gapping a field so much. I'd be interested to see how they look against the American girls, but nonetheless, they're definitely medal contention. And then moving over to the men 4x1, obviously Jamaica put a blazing time down without their A team. I think they were missing, would you say, Akeem Blake wasn't there?
Yeah, Blake wasn't running, yeah.
So obviously, and it's good, I think, this close to a championship to be able to get a relay in, even if it's not like with all of your top guys, we got 2 or 3 of them so they can get a little bit of chemistry. Obviously, we've seen things go tremendously wrong for teams. And a lot of that is because of a lack of familiarity. Like college teams consistently run every weekend. And so by the time they get to a championship, they know what they need to do. They know their steps, they know their timing, they know everything. But with these national teams, a lot of times they don't get the reps. So I would be interested to see how the Great Britain women and the Jamaican men do now that they've gotten a good 4x1 in so close to the championships. I think that was, it was nice that they ran a relay at this time of league.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. I think it, at least for the Jamaican men, it was the best thing possible for them not to qualify at the world relays, because now they have to get a couple more races in, and it's going to put them in a better position, I think, because you get more reps. And the biggest issue within the professional 4x1 are the handoffs, because everyone's training all over the world. So you're not able to practice this except during that relay camp if people show up. And so it's now you have to practice it because, hey, we didn't qualify for it at the World Relays, so we have to put together these teams. And so now your chemistry is that much better than the United States, which that's a low bar to put, but it's that much better than all these other teams. And so you've just got that little bit more of an edge of when you get there of, well, we've had a few more opportunities to go through and do this. So I think it's going to end up being a good thing for them that they're now going to have some more opportunities. And on the women's side, I mean, I think it's going to, the top three, barring some crazy finish or something happening, is it's always kind of been Great Britain, Jamaica, United States. And so them putting together another good time just re-solidifies to me that, hey, that's going to be the top three. What's the order going to be? I don't know, but those three are probably going to be at the podium.
Absolutely, bro. I'm right there with you. And back to the London Diamond League. Relays aside, I'm going to use this to get back into the relays, but that 400 meter, right? You got Charlie Dobson beating Matthew Hudson-Smith, both Great Britain athletes, running 44:10. Incredible time for him. I think that was a PB for him as well. And that made me look a little bit into the depth of Great Britain for 400 meter runners. And are they going to actually be in contention for a 4x4 medal this year? And I think that they are. They've got like 4 guys in 44s. Obviously, Matthew Hudson-Smith is incredible, and he's going to split 43 every time he steps on the track. Charlie, I think he's a 43 guy. So with that being said, I think that Great Britain is going to position themselves to be able to win a medal in this 4x4. Obviously, you have South Africa that's hot. You have Botswana that's hot. And you have the United States that's always going to be in it. They're going to get a medal. Just put that on your bingo card right now that the USA is going to get a medal in the 4x4. But I thought that was a really, really interesting spectacle of the meet with Charlie winning that 400, because I wouldn't have thought in a million years that he would have beaten Matthew Hudson-Smith, not on home soil. Obviously, they're both from there, but Matt's the guy. So for him to beat Matt, that was really big, and I think that's going to bode well for their team as a whole come World Championship time in the 4x4.
Yeah, I mean, he's not one of the big time names in the 400. Like many people that are even really invested in track and field have no freaking clue who this guy is. And so to drop a 44:10 right now and to win on home soil against one of your countrymen that has been able to dominate in this field in a long time, like it bodes well for that 4x4 of who are going to be the other two guys that'll be on that relay and what kind of times you're going to put together. And yeah, I mean, we've got a good trifecta of these 400 or 4x4 teams now, with Team USA and Great Britain and Botswana, which like I feel really came out of nowhere. Like I didn't, if you told me in 2022 that, hey, Botswana is going to be one of the heaviest hitters in the Olympics in 2024, like what? I don't know if that's the case. And so they're coming out of nowhere right now, and they got a really young and powerful team that's going to push, I think, all these other nations to be great.
Yeah. I don't want to botch his name, but he's a Botswana runner. Indori, Bayapo Indori, I believe is how you'd say his name. He's been pretty consistent over the last couple of years. It's funny because he typically runs like a season best really early in the season, like May. And he was in this race. I'm not sure what his time was. He obviously didn't win, but he's an interesting athlete that I'm going to keep an eye on. And I think our fans should keep an eye on Indori of Botswana, at least as a relay leg. I think he's going to put something special down. And I'm really excited for South Africa as well, just because obviously Wade has been the face of South Africa for a very long time. He just hopped back into 400 yesterday for the first time, I think this whole year. But they have 3 guys that run 44 this year that's not named Wade Van Niekerk. So with that being said, I think Wade obviously inspired a nation and changed a lot of things there. And now that he's like the elder, kind of like the Ninja Turtle meme, like you have like little, now that the other Ninja Turtles are really big and they can carry him away. That would be super special as Wade is approaching the later years of his career. If those guys could pull together like a 4x4, like a bronze or a silver, fucking a gold, that would be awesome. But they do, like I said, they have a lot of talent over there. A lot of guys running 44, a lot of guys running 45s. So they should be able to put together a formidable team, as well as the Jamaicans too. I was looking at the Jamaican team; they've got like 544 high guys.
Yeah, it's not just the USA automatically wins gold in the 4x4 show anymore. Like it's been for the men and for the women, it's been USA automatically wins the 4x4. Okay, who's competing for second? And it's been that way as long as I can remember. Like it's long in my entire life, and then even before then, it's pretty much how it's been. And so this is the first time where we're really getting challenged by some other nations, where it also shows we can't just throw our B team out there anymore. I mean, we've seen it with the split 4x4, the men and the women
Yeah.
4x4, where we haven't won any of those championships in a long time since they've had it over the past 5 years or so, 6 years maybe. And so it's showing like other countries are stepping up, and we can't just be throwing anyone out there. And so it's same thing with these 4x4s of we got to have our best guys if we want to actually win this thing. And I think we've got some good young talent coming up and some veterans that are doing well, but it's not going to be easy.
I'm definitely interested to see who will be on the US 4x4 this year. I was also looking at our top guys for this season, and obviously Caleb McRae is at the top of the list. Christopher Bailey's up there. Ja'Cory Patterson. I think those are our top three guys, and Quincy Wilson. So Quincy Wilson has Olympic experience, obviously, but when he was there last year, he did split. I think it was 47. Okay, he's a kid. We grant him grace for that. That's okay. But that did happen. Ja'Cory Patterson doesn't have. I think he was on the indoor 4x4 team this year, but I don't believe he has outdoor experience. Caleb McRae, I think he might have been on a mixed relay, but I don't think he has outdoor experience. Bryce Deadman's up there. I'm very comfortable with Bryce Deadman. He's a world champ. He's an Olympic champ. He's a consistent veteran. Obviously, Ryan Benjamin's going to be a part of the team. No Michael Norman this year, right? So is there a Vernon Norwood slot this year? He obviously just ran 44.3. Quincy Hall didn't run the 4x4 last year. So maybe this year he runs a 4x4. We'll see. But, it's a lot of question marks. It's almost like we have such an abundance of riches. It works against us sometimes in the 4x1 and the 4x4 because it's hard to call, who are we going to. I remember I made a team in 2022 and they were like, no, we're not going to run you today. We're going to put Trevor Bassett on the team. And it's like, interesting, and you can't really be too mad because it's like, okay, you got to respect other athletes of your nation and understand everybody's really good, but it's hard to build that, I don't know if the word is congeniality or, just chemistry together and put together consistent teams when America's constantly, plugging and playing guys. I remember Elijah Godwin was like the designated pop-off guy for like 2 or 3 seasons, right? And then now things change and now somebody else is popping off and somebody else is second and Rye's going to be fourth, like as long as we get the baton to Rye, I feel like that kind of feels like the mood, but I don't like that strategy this year. I think, we need to really look into the performances at USA championships and then decide early, okay, this is going to be our 4x4 team.
Yeah, a lot of other nations where it's, hey, we only have 4 guys that are that are good, and so we know what the order is going to be every single year. Versus like with us, it's every season it's going to be a different team. Like I don't think we've had the same relay for 2 championships in a row like ever. Like it doesn't happen, and so it's going to be you're going to run into a lot of those issues with chemistry because you were too good that's what a big problem is. Like I was talking to some of my friends who aren't track and field fans last week, and we were talking about like handoffs. So I was like teaching people how to do handoffs in like my work thing, my 4x1 handoffs. And they're like, yeah, so how's USA in the 4x1? I was like, the women are great. And they're like, how about the men? You're like, all right, how much time do you have? Like, let's talk about this. So there's this thing called like relay camps, and then there's agents, and there's this, and there's that, and there's a lot of drama, and they're like, that's stupid. Like, just pick 4 people that do it and have them do it every year. I'm like, that would be great, but that's not how it works. And so it's like, yeah, we have too many. We're too good for our own good, and that's been the biggest downfall because of the lack of chemistry and everything. So it's a weird catch-22, I guess we're in.
Yeah. Is there anything else from this weekend that you wanted to get to?
Yeah, we didn't bring it up in our pre-show, but I forgot. about Athlos having their announcement to be in Times Square for their long jump. For those that didn't see it, that Athlos, the women's only track meet, has announced that they're going to be having the prelims of the long jump compete the day before, so October 9th, I think it is, in Times Square. And then the finals will be hosted at Icon Stadium with the remaining of the meet. This is huge for the sport of track and field. And I think it's really interesting on the timing of everything, because if you remember a couple weeks ago when there was the hubbub about Tyreek Hill no longer racing Noah Lyles, even though that was announced months ago, but the public figured out about it like a couple weeks ago, and how they were supposed to run in Times Square. And that's no longer happening. Now, the first track and field event that's going to be hosted in Times Square is Athlos in this long jump competition. I think this is sick. Like when I talk about track and field, track doesn't need field and field doesn't need track to be successful. This is what I mean of like long jump in an arena or like in, Hayward Field. It sucks. Like you can't actually get a good idea of what's going on. There's so many other things going on. Put it in like a Times Square where this is the only thing you're watching. This is how you get the athletes pumped up. People get excited. I know like the Ed Murphy Classic does it with the pole vault. They have it the night before downtown. Everyone's watching. The energy's lit. That's what you need. And so this is going to be this is exactly where Tara Davis Woodall needs to be. Fits her personality perfectly, where you're in the tourist destination of the world and everyone's going to be watching you in the heart of Times Square. Now I'm hoping the weather holds up, because New York in October, you don't know what's going to happen. It might be cold, it might be rain. You have no idea, but
it could snow, bro. It could snow.
It literally may snow at a track meet, but I'm looking forward to it. What were your thoughts when you saw this announcement?
Dude, incredible. Like that was an incredible idea for them to get that off. I think it's going to funnel a lot of fans to the actual track meet the next day. A lot of just casual people, like you said, tourists, people, whoever, like, oh shit, what's going on? Like, and obviously for Tara and the rest of that field, it's going to be really good for them as far as a visibility standpoint. I'm sure they're going to have graphics up. I'm sure they're going to have a whole bunch of theatrics and things that are very good. So I think that this was a huge W for the women, huge W for the sport, huge W for field events. I think I've been one to slander field. So I think this is really good. And obviously long jump is a very exciting event. That's what I got recruited to go to college for, actually, for y'all get too ahead of yourselves. So I think if you can, like you said, with Hayward, right, there's a lot going on. So it's hard to really pay attention to the long jump. But if this is a standalone event where we've got the runway right in the middle of Times Square, like that is dope, bro. Like I'm just picturing how this is going to look. I think it's going to be super fire. Probably like have like Glorilla or somebody performing at the back end of that, that meet. So definitely exciting.
Yeah, like I know I can't remember obviously what episode it was, but I know during the offseason we were talking about where would be crazy places to host a track meet. And we said, like, I think I said it or you said like Times Square, and like laughed it off. Like, yeah, that would be crazy if that would actually happen. Thinking there's no possible way. I remember we did this. If somebody in the comments remembers what episode that was or can find that clip, let me know. Because I remember vividly us saying like, yeah, like what about Times Square? You're like, Colin, get a grip. That's never going to happen. And now it's happening. Like that's like, I think they're doing this stuff right. And I put it on Twitter, but I'm liking a lot of what Athlos has been doing right now. First, you signed Sha'Carri Richardson, the biggest name in track and field. She's a part of your league. Next, you announce there's going to be a team dynamic in track and field, something that we don't see in the professional circuit. We only see it in college track and field. And then you're announcing that you're going to be having the long jump competing in the biggest tourist destination in the entire world, putting it front stage for everyone to watch. They're doing a lot of stuff right in track and field. Now, I'm cautious because I saw this story before. We were saying the exact same thing about Grand Slam track not too long ago. The exact same thing. I love what they're doing. It's very exciting. They've got a lot of stuff going on. And we saw that they've had some difficulties recently. And they've been going through some PR nightmares. So I'm excited for it, but I'm cautious because I've seen this crash and burn too many times in our sport and track and field. I've seen a lot of promises, a lot of excitement, and it hasn't worked out. I hope this is different. I want this stuff to be successful. I think that's what people get misconstrued. I've seen people talk about, oh, Colin, you want this stuff to burn. No, like I want all of this to be successful. I want this all to be great, but it hasn't panned out. And you think I just can't like acknowledge the fact that hasn't happened? So I hope that it works out, but it's I don't know. I'm cautious right now. I'm very cautious.
Absolutely, bro. I'll say the same. I feel the same way that you feel about it. So, I'm wishing the best for it. I'm wishing the best for the women that's involved with it. That, that at the very least everybody get their money. And I hope this is a good spectacle for the sport and something that stays around and it just becomes a staple that we all look forward to. But
so,
yeah, that's how I feel.
So now that we have Times Square, we're checking that off the list. What else? Like, where else would you want to see a track and field competition, whether it's a race or it's a jump or it's a throw? What venue? Because clearly anything is possible now. Like, if we can do Times Square, we can go anywhere. Like, is there any other place you can think of? Like, oh, we have to have this sort of competition here. Like, that would be cool. Is there what place do you think would be the next best one to do?
Well, let me think. Obviously, like something involving the Eiffel Tower, like a long jump competition under the Eiffel Tower, or like a pole vault competition under the Eiffel Tower would be pretty cool.
That'd be good.
What other venues? Maybe you have something that you think of?
Yeah, I was thinking like, I mean, the UFC's doing it, but like the freaking White House at this point, like, why not? Like, just have a track meet running through the South Lawn of like the White. Like, there's not many other places in the world. I mean, maybe like the Grand Canyon. Like, let's have throwers like just throw into the Grand Canyon or something. Like, that would be the next like thing that, or the what's it called? Like Niagara Falls. Like, let's have a long jump competition or
into the falls. Yeah, like into the water.
Yeah, or like you're running from New York to Canada. Like, let's have it over like over top of it. At this point, like anything's. If you can do New York, you can do Times Square. Like, I'm sure, like we're laughing at it now, but I was laughing at that at Times Square. Like, that'd be impossible too. And here they are doing it. So. How much bread do you think it's going to cost to shut down a portion of Times Square? Because a long jump competition, you're going to have to put that stuff up at least a day ahead of time, and it's going to have to stay there, and you're going to have security watching that. And then, so they're blocking off stuff for like 2 whole days. That's some bread on a weekend too. That's some bread.
This guy, the man behind all of this, has to be like absurdly connected with government officials in New York, because I like trying to estimate that this would have to be like a $500 million deal to be done, like to actually shut off part of Times Square. Like, if you guys haven't been to New York, like the flow of people that are in that area alone per day has to be over 1 million people a day. Has to be. So to have that type of access, it definitely got granted through some sort of like government official or some weird shit. But are you Googling how many people are in Times Square per day? So, bro, it had to be very expensive. But he probably got some sort of deal. I don't know.
Yeah, they have 50 million people annually, and about 500,000 people on during the day that'll go through. And so if you're blocking off 2, it's about 2 million people that would be going through there during the time that you're blocking this off. And that's crazy amounts. Like, that's a lot of individuals to go through. Like, can't like picturing 500,000 people. Like, that's nuts of what's going. So yeah, that there. Shout out Alexis Ohanian for going through and doing this. I'm looking forward to seeing what it is, but once again, I'm cautious. I don't know. Track and field in New York City in October. Man, okay, good luck. I hope that it doesn't like rain out. I'm praying for good weather there because that could really be a vibe killer if it's just like pouring rain and no one shows up and you just wasted all this money and time for nothing. I hope that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
but you're risking it. So, we need your athlete, international athlete of the week.
International Athlete of the Week, bro. None other than Julien Alfred, bro. Are we? Come on, man. Like she just that 21-7, bro. It's just like embedded in my brain right now. I was driving around with my girlfriend yesterday, and I seen the result, and I was like low key in disbelief. Like I had to read it a couple times, and she was like, "What was that? How good is that?" I'm like, yo, like that's fucking crazy. Like it's crazy. So yeah, Julien Alfred. Shout out to her International Athlete of the Week for this week.
There you go. Shout out Julien Alfred. I think she's also now a 2-time, maybe even 3-time.
She's got to be like a 3 or 4 time, bro. So she's been up
Yeah.
here quite a few times.
She might be. We have to get ready for your International Athlete of the Year. I'm sure. Like, start thinking who's in a good contention. That's what we should get. Maybe let me know who's like what's the power rankings of International Athlete of the Year. We'll put it on social media for hey, this is where we're currently at going into USA's for the men and the women's International Athlete of the Year. So we can we'll get some updates.
Yeah, that's like our own little version of the Bowerman, like the and the only difference is we are actually going to give the award as soon as the season's over instead of like 18 months later, you know?
Yeah, you're not gonna have to wait till January to figure out that you won. Your certificate will be in the mail before it even gets announced. So yeah, that's how it'll work. So you'll get it the second that you have it. So it'll be big time. It'll be big time. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Another episode, Track World News Podcast. Exciting championships coming up. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Have a good one. Peace.